Today we're celebrating and congratulating the Phantom of the Opera for its record-breaking run on Broadway, and we're doing that with an official Phantom of the Opera cocktail called the Sweet Intoxication, so stick around.
If you're a theater fan who loves a great cocktail, click that subscribe button because Broadway Barfly is the channel for you.
Hello folks, Rob Dreemeyer here. Welcome to Broadway Barfly. The Phantom of the Opera opened on Broadway on January 26, 1988. The score was written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It was directed by Hal Prince. Michael Crawford starred as the Phantom himself. Sarah Brightman, who was married to Andrew Lloyd Webber at the time, played Christine Daae, the young ingenue. Judy Kaye played the opera diva Carlotta, and she won a Tony Award for her performance. In fact, the Phantom of the Opera pretty much swept the Tony Awards that year. There are only two major awards it didn't win. Sort of ironically, that was the best score and the best book. Both of those awards went to Into the Woods that also opened that season. Phantom had opened a couple years earlier in London and was already a hit there, but I don't know that anybody could have predicted just how big of a hit it was going to be in New York. Broadway already had Cats and Les Mis playing, and those two shows sort of define this term mega hit. But Phantom of the Opera opened and became sort of a mega hit and just far eclipsed both of those shows. I can speak firsthand to just how big of a hit Phantom was, especially in those early years. One of the first jobs I had when I moved to New York was working for Telecharge. Telecharge is the ticketing arm of the Shubert organization. Phantom of the Opera played at the Majestic Theater, which is owned and operated by the Shubert organization, so I sold tickets to Phantom of the Opera. In fact, I sold many, hundreds if not thousands of tickets to Phantom of the Opera in those early years. In January 2009, Phantom became the longest-running musical in Broadway history, knocking Cats from the top of the list. In 2012, it played its 10,000th performance on Broadway, becoming the first Broadway musical to ever hit that milestone. And on April 16, 2023, it played its final performance on Broadway. It ran just over 35 years and played almost 14,000 performances. If there was ever a show that deserved a toast of congratulations, it would be the Phantom of the Opera. Ever since I started Broadway Barfly, I've been meaning to do a video about Phantom, but I could never really decide what cocktail I wanted to pair with it. But very recently, I stumbled across a couple videos on YouTube that had been uploaded to the official Phantom YouTube channel 4 and 5 years ago, and they were cocktail videos. They featured a cast member, an actor named Paul Schaefer behind the bar, shaking up 3 signature cocktails. All 3 of the cocktails in that series looked really interesting, so if this one goes well, maybe I will do follow-up videos of the other 2 cocktails. They were a Masquerade Margarita, which was a spin on a margarita with pomegranate juice, and it looked really good. And the other was the Creme de la Creme, which appeared to me to be a sort of a spin on a Brandy Alexander, but it had a whole egg in it, which I thought was sort of interesting and odd. As I was watching him mix it up, I thought, is that a cocktail or cake batter? I wasn't really sure. But what we're making today is the Sweet Intoxication, and I'm assuming the name of the cocktail comes from a line in the lyric of the song Music of the Night, which is one of the show's most famous songs. Floating, falling, sweet intoxication. I chose to make this cocktail because it has blackberries, and I love blackberries. If you follow the channel, you may remember that I make my own homemade creme de mire, which is a blackberry liqueur. If you haven't already seen that video, I hope you'll check it out and maybe make some for yourself this summer because it is really good. Now, I've not made this cocktail before, so we're going to make it and taste it here together for the first time. You'll notice that it's sort of a fizz or a mule. We're going to start by muddling together some blackberries, lime, and sage, which I think is an intriguing combination. I know people use sage in cocktails. I've never used it, and I don't think I've ever had a cocktail with sage in it, so I'm really curious to give that a try. If you go back and you look at their official video, you'll notice that I'm doing 2 things different. One is minor and one is pretty major. The minor thing is that I'm going to double strain it. They did not double strain it in their video, but I know if we muddle up blackberries, we're going to get a lot of seeds, and I don't think we want those floating around in the glass. The major thing, and this really is major, is that right at the end of their video, they garnished the cocktail with a chunk of dry ice. Now, I'm sure they did this for the effect because the effect of the smoke coming down over the glass is reminiscent of that very famous scene in the show where the Phantom takes Christine in the boat across that underground lake. And when that scene is revealed on stage, the stage is just covered with that smoke, and it's really, really impressive. But you cannot ingest dry ice. It is dangerous. It can be deadly. So maybe that's the reason they never did any more cocktail videos after that. But I know better. We're not going to put dry ice in the cocktail. So all of that said, let's go ahead and make our Sweet Intoxication. Our Sweet Intoxication. I cannot wait to give this a try. Ooh, that is really good. The sweet and the tart from the lime and the blackberry are just the right balance. If I'm honest, you completely lose the rum, which is saying something, because I used the Gosling black rum, which is what they used in the video. And the sage, you know, you can taste it's there, but it's this really nice little aftertaste. Yeah, the Sweet Intoxication is a winner. It's a hit. It's a hit worthy of Broadway's biggest hit. So Phantom of the Opera will live on with the Sweet Intoxication. Until the next time, cheers.
If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends? Feel free to leave your comments and click that subscribe button because there's a lot more Broadway Barfly to come.